Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn the Rashi's and Masechta Shabbos on Daf Beis Amud Beis and Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. Let's begin. Tartus Srei Havin. The Gemara asked, how come the Tana of the Mishnah says that there are 8 cases of Yitzias Shabbos? There are actually 12 cases of Yitzias Shabbos. So Rashi will explain to us how we have 12 cases by Yitzias Shabbos. Says Rashi, Arba Chiyuve, there are the 4 Chayev cases, V'tamniya Pturei, and the 8 Putter cases. Now the 8 Chayev cases don't need to be explained. We either have the Ani doing Geitzah, or the Ani doing Achnasa, and we have the Balabayas doing Eitzah and the Balabayas doing Achnasa. So the 4 cases of Chayev are obvious. Rashi will explain to us how we have 8 cases of Pater. So it says Rashi, Shtei Akiras L'Ani B'lei Anacha. We have 2 Akiras for the Ani without doing Anacha. Either he did Akira and extended his hand inwards, or he just did Akira. Shtei Anachas B'lei Akira, and then we have 2 Anachas without the Akira. Either he brought it out and put it down, or he just put it down. V'chein Balabais, and the same thing for the Balabais. So we have 2 Akiras and 2 Anachas for the Ani, 2 Akiras and 2 Anachas for the Balabais. So we have 4 for each, so that's 8 cases of Pater, plus the 4 Chayuvim is 12. Now Rashi will show us how we actually see it in the Mishnah itself, because the Gemara's question is not that theoretically there are 12 cases, but that in the Mishnah there are 12 cases. So why does the Tana start saying that there are 8 and then actually presents 12? Where do we see 12 in the Mishnah? So Rashi is actually going to quote the Mishnah itself, and in the part of the Mishnah that presents the Pater cases, we presented it in 2 series. The first series is either the Ani extended his hand inwards, and the Balabais took the item out of it, or the Balabais placed something into the extended hand, and the Ani brought it out. And then the second series was when the Balabais did the extending. Either the Balabais extended his hand outwards, and the Ani took something out of it, or the Ani placed something into it, and the Balabais brought it in. So Rashi will show us how in each of these series, we have 4 cases of Pater. So if in each of the series we have 4 Paters, that's a total of 8 Paters, with the 4 Chayuvim is 12. So let's see it inside. Kigain, for example, Pashat Ani Yasyade Malaya Lefnim. If the Ani extended his full hand inwards, Venota Balabais Meteicha, and the Balabais took the item out of it. Hari Akira Lo-Ani, V'anachal Balabais. We have an Akira for the Ani, and the Anacha for the Balabais. Or the Balabais placed something in it, and the Ani took it out. Hari Akira Lo-Balabais, V'anachal Lo-Ani. There we have the Akira for the Balabais, and the Anacha for the Ani. So we have in the series of cases where the Ani extended his hand inwards, we have an Akira for the Ani and an Anacha for the Balabais, and then we have a Akira for the Balabais and an Anacha for the Ani. So that's 4 cases of Pater in that series of Pater cases. V'chein Pashat Balabais Chulu, and the same when the Balabais extended his hand outwards. We have the same thing. We have the Balabais extended his hand outwards, and the Ani took something out of it. That's a Akira for the Ani, Anacha for the Balabais. Or the Ani placed something into the extended hand, and the Balabais brought it in. Akira for the Ani and Anacha for the Balabais. So in each one we have 4 cases of Pater. That's 8 cases of Pater plus the 4 Chayuvim. Kediktanim, like it teaches in the Mishnah. So we actually have in the Mishnah 12 cases, not 8. So the Gemara asks back on this, Shisrei Havin. Why did the Makshan ask that there are 12 cases in the Mishnah? So why does it say that there are 8? He should have asked that there are 16 cases in the Mishnah. Why does he say that there are 8? What do we have 16 cases in the Mishnah? What do we have another 4 cases? So says Rashi, the Ikal L'Michshav Nami, because we can also count Hanach Pturi, those Pturim, the Misnu Gabi Chiyuva, that are said by the Chiyuvim. Where do we have that? Ta'ani Chayev Balabayis Pater. There are 2 cases where the Ani is Chayev. He either did the home malacha of Hachnasa into the hand of the Balabayis, or the home malacha of Eitzah from the hand of the Balabayis. The Ani is Chayev, Balabayis is Pater. Those are 2 more cases of Pater for the Balabayis. V'chein Balabayis Chayev Ani Pater. So too when the Balabayis is Chayev, he did the home malacha of Eitzah into the hand of Ani, or the home malacha of Hachnasa from the hand of the Ani. So the Balabais is Chayev, V'ani Pater, and the Ani is Pater. We have another 2 cases for the Ani being Pater. So there's 2 for the Balabais and 2 for the Ani. It's another 4 cases. So there are 16 cases. So the Gemara asked, why does the Makshan ask that there are 12 and not 8? He should have asked that there are 16 and not 8. So the Gemara answered, Bava de Reisha, the first cases of Pater we're not counting. What are the Bava de Reisha, and why aren't we counting them? Says Rashi, Ani Chayev Balabais Pater. When the Ani is Chayev for doing the home malacha and the Balabais is Pater. And the other cases are Ubalabais Chayev Ani Pater. The Balabais is Chayev and the Ani is Pater. Those cases of Pater, which are 4, we're not counting them. Why not? The Pater Mechatas and Mutter Lechatchila, because they are Pater from a Karban Chatas, and it's Mutter Lechatchila. The person's allowed to do it. It's not a case of Yitzias Shabbos. It's not a case of anything. It's Mutter to be done. And the reason is the Alav Akira of it, because he didn't do an Akira, V'lay Anacha of it, and he didn't do an Anacha. Sha'achar Nicha B'yadei. Rather, the other person placed it in his hand or took it from his hand. But this person didn't do anything whatsoever. So the Gemara responds, we're not counting those cases. That's why we didn't ask that there are 16, because those are not cases of Yitzias Shabbos. Those are not cases of anything. The person didn't do anything. It's mutter for him to do it. However, Bava the Seif in the other cases where he did something, when it says pater, it means pater of alasr, those we should count. Pater of alasr, which is pater mechatas, it's pater from carbon chatas, of alasr midivreim lechatchila, but it's prohibited midrabanan lechatchila for a person to do it. A person is not allowed to do part of a malacha. Those cases we should count. So why do we only say that there are 4 of such cases, 4 cases of pater, when there are actually 8 cases of pater, plus the 4 chayuvim is 12? So the Gemara asked the question on this. On this answer, the Gemara asked, how can we say that the first cases of pater in the Mishnah, when the one person did the whole malacha and the other person didn't do anything, and the Mishnah says the one who did the whole malacha is chayiv and the other person is pater, how could we interpret that when it says pater, it means pater and mutter? But Shmuel taught that whenever it says pater by Shabbos, it means pater and aser, except for 3 times, which are tzeidas tzvi, v'tzeidas nachash, v'mafes morsa. If a person traps a deer, if a person traps a snake, or if a person opens a boil. Those are the only 3 places by Shabbos where it says a person's pater for doing them, and it means mutter. So how can we say that when our Mishnah says pater, when the other person did the malacha, it says about the individual who didn't do the malacha, pater, it means pater and mutter. Shmuel said there are only 3 cases of pater and mutter by Shabbos. How can we say this is a case of pater and mutter? What are these cases? Says Rashi, Kulu beperik, Rabbi Lezer, Eimer, Ha'erig, B'Sefer. All of these cases are found at the end of the perik, Rabbi Lezer, Eimer, Ha'erig, which we call perik Ha'erig. V'hasa mefarish tamayu, and over there it explains the reason. Minoli behu de pater mutter. How do we know that by them it means pater and mutter? It says there pater in those cases by tzeidas tzvi, tzeidas nachash, and mafes morsa. How do we know that those dinim of pater mean pater and mutter? It's explained over there. What's mafes morsa? What's a morsa? So Rashi gives the French word for morsa. What does mafis morsa mean? What's mafis? To open it. Says Rashi, oitzer, he presses it, shetiftach, in order that it should open, v'teitze halecha, and the fluid, the pus, should come out. So those are the only cases that are pater and mutter. How can we say that our Mishnah is also a case of pater and mutter? So the Gemara answers, ki itzrich alei. When did he need Lashmina to teach us the pater and mutter? When does Shmuel need to teach us that pater means pater and mutter? It's bahanach the isbu maisa. It's by these that have a maisa. The person did something. He trapped a deer. He trapped a snake. He opened a boil. Kigayin hanitlas, for example, these 3. V'suleka, there's nothing more than those. There are only 3 cases where the person did something, and the ruling is pater, and it means pater and mutter. However, if the person didn't do anything and it says pater, there are many such cases where it means pater and mutter. Ika tuva, there are more. There are many. There are many such cases where it says pater and it means mutter. Kigayin hanach de bava deresha. For example, these of the first section of the Mishnah, where the ani did the whole malacha, the balabais did the whole malacha. We say the other individual is pater. He didn't do anything. So over there, certainly when it says pater, it means pater and mutter. We don't need to explain that. That's obvious. It's self-understood, and there are many such cases. So the Gemara has a question. So why do we say there are 8 cases if there's actually 12? And the Gemara answers, P'turi de asabu l'dechi of chatas. The Tana says 4. It's true there are 8, but he's not counting the ones that don't bring to a chiyuv chatas. In the asr cases, there are 2 categories. We have the 4 chayiv cases, and we do have 8 asr cases, 8 cases of pater. But there itself, we could divide it into 2. There are those that bring to a chiyuv chatas and those that don't. The Tana of our Mishnah is only counting in its numbering the chiyuv cases and the ones that can bring to a chiyuv chatas, not the asr ones that do not bring to a chiyuv chatas. So that's why it says that there are 8. Now the question is, what are the cases that bring to a chiyuv chatas? Which ones are we referring to? So Rashi presents 2 explanations. Kigain, for example, akiris, the akiris, shehin tchilas ha-malacha, that they are the start of the malacha. So Rashi says we're only counting the akiris. Why? Since they're the start of the malacha. The ikal migzer, that we could make a gzeira, dilma gamarla, maybe he'll complete it. He started the malacha, maybe he'll complete it. Those are the ones that we're counting. Those are the ones that can bring to a chiyuv chatas. Of al anachas, but the anachas leimatzi l'meisel de chiyuv chatas. They can't bring to a chiyuv chatas. If somebody did an anacha, there's no way he could come to a chiyuv chatas, since the akir was already done. Part of the malacha was already completed. So therefore, the person could only do an isser. He can never come to a chiyuv. Whereas the person who starts it, he could come to complete it. The leka akira gabehai, because there's no akira by that person. The person who does the anacha, there's no potential and no place for an akira. The akira is already done. However, the one that did the akira, he could come to do anacha. Va'arba diktani b'chol chad, and the 4 that accounts by each one, because we said at the beginning of the Mishnah, shtayim shin arba b'fnim for the person on the inside, shtayim shin arba b'chutz for the person on the outside. When we say 4, what are the 4? Tarti de chiyuva, there are 2 chiyuvim. Va'akira de ptura de tarti nira, and the akiras of pater that are only 2. There are only 2 akiras that are pater. And now Rashi will show us how we see that. So in other words, what Rashi is saying over here is that all we look at is the akira. And if we look at the akira, we only have a total of 4 pater cases and 4 chayiv cases between everybody. That's 8 cases. Now where do we see it in the Mishnah itself? Pasha the ani yodei malaya lefnim. If the ani extended his full hand inwards, Hochada, that's one case for the ani. He did the akira. We're not looking at the balabayas. Oishin nasan l'seicha balabayas, or the balabayas placed something into it. V'yada shel ani hoiser rekanis. The hand of the ani was empty, and the ani brought it out. So there, hatarti, we have two. We only have two cases there. We originally said that there's four cases. The ani has akira, the balabayas has anacha. Then the balabayas has akira, and the ani has anacha. Now we're saying we're not looking at the anachas. There's only two cases there. V'chein bidach, and so too in the next series of cases, where the balabayas extended his hand outwards. So if in each series we have two isurim, that means we have a grand total of 4 pater asur cases and 4 chayiv cases. That's 8 cases. Now Rashi presents an alternative explanation for one of the cases that are pater that bring to a chiyuv chatas. Says Rashi, for Rabbi Seinu Eimrim, and Rabbi Seinu say pshitas yad lefnim. It's the extending of the hand inwards or outwards. Legabe shneim, by both of them. Bein malaya bein rekanis, whether it is a full hand, whether it's an empty hand, he tchilas amaisa. That's the beginning of the maisa. Vahu hu dekachashiv, and that's the one that he's counting. Rashi says what we count is the person who starts the actual malacha itself by doing the akira of the item. Rabbi Seinu say we're starting the start of the malacha, but it's the start of the malacha is not the person who does the akira. It's the person who extended his hand. Whoever extended his hand, he started the malacha, and that's what we're counting. So, for example, if the ani extended his empty hand inwards, and the balabayas placed something into it, Rashi counts the balabayas. He did that kira and placed something into it. Rabbi Seinu say we're counting the ani. He started the malacha by extending his hand inwards. The havalu tarti ba'ani, v'tarti ba'balabayas. There we have 2 for the ani and 2 for the balabayas. Either the ani extended his full hand inwards, or he extended his empty hand inwards, or the balabayas extended his full hand outwards, or extended his empty hand outwards. So we have a total again of 4 cases, 2 for each. Now Rashi explains why is it that we keep on talking over here about a chiyuv, about p'turi de osibilade chiyuv chatas. Why do we keep on talking about a chatas here and not, for example, skila or karas? Says Rashi, kol chiyuv of pater b'mesech l'Shabbos. Anytime it says all the chiyuv and p'turim of mesech l'Shabbos, whenever it says chayiv and pater, b'chatas kay, it's referring to a carbon chatas u'b'shegig, and when it was b'shegig. So that's why we're talking about a carbon chatas, because that's what chayiv and pater refer to. They refer to a carbon chatas, not to karas or skila. Now the Gemara presented a pasuk that taught that a person needs to do the whole malacha to be chayiv a carbon chatas, not doing part of it. We said it says me'ama oretz ba'asei, so we quoted a pasuk. So says Rashi, gabe chatas ksiv. The pasuk's written by a carbon chatas, and that's why from there we learn the din of a carbon chatas ba'asei. When does a carbon chatas happen? Ba'asei, if the person does isa, the whole thing, and not if he does part of it.